So good afternoon, Meissner makers. We're here for the third and final installment of how to personalize your own embroidered Minky throw. So far we've pieced our Minky together, we've added our ruffle, we have stitched in the ditch to quilt it to our batting, and we are ready for the final technique, which is to embroider on our Minky. Now for this particular project, because we are working on Minky, which can be a little bit of a challenging fabric, we are going to work with an applique design. This way it'll eliminate the pokies of any of the Minky fabric coming up through our embroidery. So for our embroidery, I've chosen the Curls monogram from Anita Good. It is an applique monogram design collection, and I'm going to stitch one out on a test swatch just to make sure that I have my tension correct, that I like the fabric, and I like the thread choices that we're working with. Now when you are embroidering on Minky, because in this case we do have a layer of batting behind our quilt, all we really need is something very lightweight in behind. So I'm working with a water-soluble mesh on both the bottom of the project and on the top as well. For this particular project, I'm using the cut-in-place method for in the hoop applique. So I have chosen to use the mesh style water-soluble stabilizer because it'll be a little easier to clip underneath my applique fabric without clipping down into the stabilizer itself. So let's go ahead and start our machine. If you've not done embroidered applique before, the first thing that happens is that your design is going to stitch a placement line so you know where to position your applique fabric. It's not critical that your stabilizer stay flat on the top, but if it bothers you, you can baste it in place prior to stitching out that first row of stitching. So now we'll put our applique fabric in place and we'll start the machine up. It'll tack down the applique fabric for us. Once the applique fabric is tacked into place, we're going to stitch around the excess fabric. If you have a scan and cut at home, you could use your scan and cut machine to pre-cut your applique shapes for you, and then you would simply position the pre-cut fabric over that first placement line. At this point, we'll remove the hoop from the machine, but do not remove the fabric from the hoop. Using your applique scissors, trim away any of the excess fabric. So we've reattached our hoop to our machine and we're ready to start the last round of stitching. So this will be the satin stitch that seals up and completes our applique design. Now again, we've chosen in this particular instance to use a mesh style water soluble on the top because it's a little easier to get underneath the applique fabric to trim away the excess when it is the mesh style stabilizer versus the clear plastic style topping stabilizer. When our embroidery is complete, we'll simply spritz to remove the excess from around the design, and then when your project is washed, the rest of it will be removed completely. So now that our embroidery is complete, we've rinsed away the excess stabilizer and we're ready to put the backing on. To put the backing on is super simple. So we're going to push all of our ruffle to the front so that the raw edges of the throw are exposed. We're going to take a backing fabric, simply place it right sides together, and then you're going to sew all the way around, leaving yourself an opening of about, I would say, 6 to 8 inches along one straight edge. Once you've sewn the backing to the right side of the throw, again, all right sides together and raw edges aligned, you'll turn it out envelope style through that opening that you leave, and then you can turn it to the right side and then simply top stitch to close the opening, or if you prefer, you can whip stitch it by hand. And then you're done.